Ronaldo was brought back to Manchester United because he was seen as the final call for instant success. And who can blame the Red Devils for that? Everywhere the Portuguese forward has gone, he's won something notable. However, it hasn't worked out at Old Trafford, and there are many reasons why. But today, we're not going to talk about why it hasn't worked. We're going to talk about things that could help improve Ronaldo's performances, and by virtue, United's fortunes. Arsenal no longer wants Pierre Emerick Aubameyang, and the Gunners are eager to sell him this January. So, who's going to bite? Niko Kovac was recently fired from AS Monaco, but the former Bayern Munich man might not be jobless for long, with a return to the Bundesliga on the cards. Bayern Munich, meanwhile, are desperate to sign Ousmane Dembele and see him as a great replacement for Kingsley Coman, who has refused to sign a new deal so far. MIRALEM PJANIC has advised two players not to join Barcelona. The Bosnian struggled at Camp Nou himself and doesn't want his former teammates to make the same mistake. Newcastle have made a move for Lucas Digne, whose time at Everton could be up as we speak. Before we get started, we want to share the sponsor of today's video. The OneFootball app is the ultimate football platform and is a must-have for every football fan, so that you can follow all of your favourite leagues, teams and players all the time right from your phone. You can be sure to turn on notifications for specific players to be instantly alerted when they score a goal or when they're involved in other breaking news. It is the best and easiest way to stay up to date with everything football. Click the link in the description down below to download the app right now. You won't regret it. MIRALEM PJANIC does not really have good memories of his time at Barcelona, especially because of the Dutch coach Ronald Koeman. Now a Besiktas player, PJANIC gave an interview to the Italian daily Tuttosport, in which he advises two of his former teammates at Juventus, ALVARO MORATA and Matthijs de Ligt, who are expected to sign in Catalonia. Although he doesn't directly try to dissuade them from signing with Barcelona, he urges his former teammates to think carefully before making such a decision. De Ligt made a great decision when he chose to grow up with Bonucci and Chiellini. He is happy at Juventus, and if he is, he should stay there. If you are motivated to try something new, we'll see. The only advice I would give is to think twice before you leave a place where you are happy, but sometimes players need motivation and new challenges. Morata will know very well what to do. After completing the arrival of Kieran Trippier from Atletico de Madrid, Newcastle are shifting gears for another big move. Sky Sports are confident that the Magpies have already sent a first offer to Everton for their left-back Lucas Digne. The residents of St James's Park have offered €25 million to the Toffees, plus midfielder Sean Longstaff, whom Rafael Benitez handed his debut when he was at the club. Chelsea and West Ham, also interested in the French international, might also make their move, but for now it seems that the former Barcelona man will move up to Toon. At the end of his contract in 6 months, Ousmane Dembele is attracting the attention of the biggest clubs in Europe, such as PSG and Bayern Munich. Ousmane Dembele has not finished making headlines yet. After scoring for his team in the Copa del Rey win over Linares, the Frenchman showed his value to his team once again. In Catalonia, they're trying to retain him by all means. Pressure shots here, flattering statements there, but the situation is not really moving in Barcelona's favour, because let's be honest, a player of those talents, who will be a free agent in 6 months, logically attracts the best clubs in the world. It was recently revealed that PSG have already shortlisted him. According to information from L'Equipe, the 2018 world champion is of great interest to Bayern Munich, which makes him their priority in the event of the departure of Kingsley Coman. At the end of the contract in 2023, Coman has still not extended and seems to want to wait and see if the grass is not greener elsewhere. Dembele is a prime target to replace him and has already been contacted by the German champions in the past. This was the case during his time at Rennes. The Bayern management are a fan of his qualities, explosiveness, speed, and the ability to turn the game on its head. Also aware of the player's regular injury problems, they believe they're able to have better answers than Barca thanks to a more efficient medical staff. On top of that, Dembele would be a cheaper solution than RAPHINHA of Leeds United or CALLUM Hudson-Odoi of Chelsea. The year started badly for Niko Kovac. Fired on January 1st from Monaco despite being in 6th place and just 4 points from the podium, the Croatian packed his luggage, was replaced by Philippe Clement while remaining in the Principality where he appreciates the setting. We can hardly prove him wrong. But now he could leave the Rock much faster than expected. In Germany, Kovac has not been forgotten, and his rating is still pretty good. This is precisely what the management of Hertha Berlin must be thinking. According to information from Bild, the former Bayern Munich and Bayer Leverkusen midfielder is being courted by the capital club. It must be said that the sporting situation isn't very good. Hertha have very significant resources since the club's buyout in 2019, but have failed to make the most of it. Currently 11th in the standings at the mid-season point, Hertha have already fired Pal Dardai at the end of November. This gave way to Tayfun Korkut, who is turning out to be a decent interim manager since his contract expires at the end of the season. His record of 2 wins in 4 games makes management think, but at the same time they want to move for a more experienced manager. Niko Kovac ticks a lot of boxes in that regard. His very successful stint at Eintracht Frankfurt between 2016 and 2018 has not been forgotten. And even if his failure at Bayern has tarnished his record, his time with the Monegasque club was rather positive. He has another advantage. He gets along very well with Freddy Bobic, the general manager of Hertha, with whom he won the German Cup in Frankfurt in 2018. The ingredients are there to bring the two men together once again. Maybe then Hertha Berlin will become high flyers in the Bundesliga. The London club, owned by Russian billionaire Roman Abramovich, won the Champions League last season, which increased its payroll mainly because of bonuses. Indeed, the payroll increased by 17.5% to reach £333 million, exceeding that of Manchester United and Liverpool. To compensate for this, Abramovich, through his company Fordstam, injected the club with almost £20 million last season, pushing the club's debt to its owner to over $1.5 billion, according to the Telegraph. Being the owner of the club, he will be reimbursed when the club is sold. This once again reminds us of several instances when owners bought a club, made it their personal playground, and when things got out of hand, they decided to walk away. Hopefully the same fate will not befall Chelsea. Things haven't simmered down between Arsenal and Pierre Emerick Aubameyang. The Gabon international still hasn't returned to the first team duty, and he was even allowed to leave for the African Cup of Nations earlier than his other African teammates. According to Sky Sports, the Gunners will not retain their star player in the event of a good offer. Mikel Arteta doesn't want Aubameyang back at the club because his return would now challenge his authority. A departure would also help the London club to save money to make a move for Dusan Vlahovic, who is going to cost a lot and will ask for a lucrative contract as well. Let's be super honest here. Manchester United's gamble to sign Cristiano Ronaldo has not paid off at all. The Portuguese has scored goals, but it's not the same. United hardly dominate games these days. In the 1-0 defeat at the hands of Wolves, Ronaldo and the rest of his teammates were abject, to say the least. He was ineffective going forward and was forced to drop far too deep to participate in build-up play. This was his worst game since making his return to the club last summer. So is it really Ronaldo who's the reason behind United's recent showings? Well, there's 2 answers to this. Yes and no. Yes, in a sense that Ronaldo is never going to be an all-action forward who'll play as a number 10, be a creator and provide assists regularly. In the last couple of years, the former Real Madrid man has held himself back in the sense that his sole focus is on finding the back of the net. No, in the sense that Ronaldo's current attributes mean that he needs a better supporting cast around him. When you've got someone like Aaron Wan-Bissaka sending in aimless crosses towards you, then what can you do? Scott McTominay might wear his heart on his sleeve, but the Scotland international isn't the most technically superior midfielder that you need at the club. At the same time, the likes of Mason Greenwood and Marcus Rashford do seem to play for themselves, trying to have all the glory to themselves. At Juventus and Real Madrid, offensive players sacrifice their numbers for Ronaldo, something he's not getting at United. So maybe it's time for Ralf Rangnick to have a serious talk with his forward players. If such a philosophy worked at Madrid and Juventus, then we're sure it can work at United too. They just need the likes of Rashford and Greenwood to be a little bit less selfish.